I'm Owen Fitz. Welcome to the Fitstop podcast. All thanks to BYD Limerick and Lions Motor Group. And when the podcast comes out on Tuesday, we'll get into everything BYD and Lions Motor Group and tell you everything about these beautiful electric cars. So this is just a quick review to give you maybe 4 to 5 things to look out for the Grand Prix this weekend. The podcast in full, the review of the race, will be on Tuesday. We head to the Spanish Grand Prix. So what is happening? Number 1 is Red Bull. And let's keep an eye on Red Bull and see where Red Bull are compared to everyone else, because Red Bull had been struggling the last few races, but Max Verstappen has picked up some wins. And in Canada, really, should he won the Grand Prix? Probably not, but it was such a champion's drive. You know, as he goes for 4 titles in a row, you can see why he's a 3-time world champion and a champion of more in the future. It was such a calculated and clever and just brilliant drive from Max Verstappen. A race that Lando Norris could have won. Funny enough, the safety car didn't do its job for him the weekend gone. And also as well, Mercedes threw it away. Lewis Hamilton, bad qualifying in Q3. And George Russell just inconsistent. And George Russell just doing that George Russell things where he just seems to make a mistake under pressure. But it'll be interesting to see how Red Bull get on. The last few circuits like Monaco hasn't suited Red Bull with the high curbs, so this Grand Prix in Barcelona should suit them a lot more better. I think they'll be a lot more comfortable, and I think they'll get a lap time together, and it'll be slightly easier for Max Verstappen. I think it's another win for him this weekend. It's a circuit that will show the strengths of Red Bull, but then again, you never know what's to come from Ferrari, what's to come from Mercedes, and also what's to come from McLaren as well. The second thing to look out for is upgrades. This weekend, people will be bringing upgrades because we're into a triple header, into that part of the European season and before the summer break where it's kind of, if they don't work now, that's your season gone. Focus on 2025 or maybe the new regulations in 2026. But, you know, there'll be key upgrades for some teams. Alpine will be looking for some upgrades and a better car, even though scoring some good points again. Also, Aston Martin, none of their upgrades have worked this year so far. They've had a really bad start, struggling so far in 2024. Do McLaren have anything new to add to the car? Because their upgrades bring them closer and closer and closer. Again, Mercedes had some upgrades in Canada. Maybe it's track specific, who knows, but will we see Mercedes a bit closer the weekend, and then that leaves Ferrari. Where are Ferrari? Because they had such a bad Grand Prix and a double DNF for Ferrari at the Canadian Grand Prix, coming from a strong Grand Prix in Monaco to an absolutely terrible Spanish Grand Prix, to the fact that they were kicked out, didn't even get to the last part of qualifying, and they were just slow all weekend. And that decision to go to the hard tyres during the rain, madness. Like, they have weather predictions. They can see the screens. That was absolute madness. But let's see where Ferrari are. Charles was definitely not in good form, and Carlos Sainz kind of just taken on the chin, really, because he's leaving next year. That leads on to something to look forward to this weekend, and that must be Carlos Sainz. Where is Carlos Sainz going? Is his future going to be decided this weekend? Probably. Will they be making a decision, an announcement at Williams? Will James Vowles be saying, yes, Carlos is joining the team for 2024 anyway, or maybe 2025? Actually, it will be 25. Lads, I have a clue what year it is. 25, he'll be joining the team if that deal goes through. But maybe he's going to Mercedes. Who knows? We might find out this weekend the future of Carlos Sainz. He'll want to get pen to paper if he hasn't already. Williams, bit of a step back, but maybe in the future that might be a big move. Also, something to look out to this weekend is we're in for a triple header. So with the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend, we head to Red Bull's home in Austria, the Red Bull Ring, aka the A1 Ring, one of my favourite circuits. It's like a go-karting track, doesn't have that many corners, but it's actually quite a tricky circuit. Then we head to Silverstone, and funny enough, Silverstone are actually struggling to sell tickets, and they put it down to the whole Max Verstappen dominance, but the season has been good so far, but the British drivers haven't been doing great, but Lando Norris has. Maybe this is the Grand Prix where Lando Norris could win his home race. You know, Lewis Hamilton has been very successful at his home race. Jenson Button never got to win his home race. George Russell will be looking for his first home win, and maybe Lando Norris, because the car was quite competitive, wasn't it, with the upgrades in Silverstone last year. And if anything, McLaren are closer now to the front of the grids than they were last year. So we'll see. Yeah, we're in for a triple header. So a lot of work for the engineers, a lot of work for the drivers and mechanics and team principals and truckers and people setting up everything. It's going to be a crazy few weeks, but we get to enjoy 3 weeks of Formula 1. My prediction for this weekend is definitely a Max Verstappen win. Don't forget, Perez has a 3-grid penalty for driving his car in a dangerous manner with his wing hanging off after the crash in Canada. They wanted to keep him out so the safety car wouldn't come out, that it wouldn't affect Max Verstappen. A lot of people saying, going, is it up there with, you know, Singapore and the race fixing? No, I don't think so. Any other team, if it was Piastri, they'd be going, get back, don't ruin it for Norris. I think this weekend it'll be an easy win for Max Verstappen. And then it's hard to tell really where McLaren will be, where Ferrari will be, and possibly Mercedes as well. And lots of teams bringing upgrades that might work, and some will find out they won't work. All thanks to BYD Limerick and Lions Motor Group. I'll be back on Tuesday. We'll have a look at the race in full. Just ahead of a triple header, we've got the Spanish Grand Prix. Enjoy.